Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Drum Candy Podcast. This is your host, Mike Dawson, coming to you from Drum Factory Direct in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This week, I'm interviewing Matt McDonough of the metal band Mudvayne. Mudvayne is an American heavy metal band that formed in Illinois in 1996, and their debut record, LD50, came out in 2000. They released 4 more records throughout the early 2000s and then went on hiatus in 2010. They reunited in 2021 and they've been on the road ever since, and they just are wrapping up a 25th anniversary of their debut record LD50, and that is when we caught up with drummer Matt McDonough. They were about a week until the end of the tour, so a lot of this conversation starts with just the idea of maintaining road chops, revisiting this material since it's been 25 years since they made it, and a bunch of other stuff. By request, this is an audio-only episode, but there's a lot of fun stuff here, so hope you dig it. Matt McDonough of Mudvayne. Let's start with how the tour is going. You're kind of in the back third of this anniversary tour, right?
Yeah, we're actually pretty close to being done. I think we have like another week and a half, a little over a week.
How's it been going? How the show's been going for you guys?
It's been one of the best tours we've ever been on. We're in really cool theaters, and the vibe is awesome, and sold out shows, and the fan response has been super positive and excited. So really can't be better.
Nice. So how does that compare to the first round with this record when you toured
it? We came out doing a lot of the Danny Wimmer DWP festivals, like in Daytona and Sacramento and Ohio and all of those. And, you know, those are very extremely large events, multi-day, 100 bands. So it's a completely different style of show and vibe. These are, you know, this is our own headlining show. So it's a completely different sort of experience. So it's cool to have been able to, you know, reach fans in those different sort of elements, reach lots of fans, and also have a more intimate experience with these theater shows. So it's cool.
What is a typical show day for you? This is a show day, right?
Correct.
So what is a typical day for you?
Yeah. Good question. That could be a good question, or it could be an extremely boring question.
Just life on the road, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to emulate my day-to-day home life as much as I can when I'm on the road. So I wake up, I put my contacts in, I clean the countertops before I put my iPad down on them. I make a cup of coffee. Yeah, I know this is a lot of detail. I'm trying to interject something maybe that could be interesting. I usually try to spend the beginning of my days. I have a schedule of like online tasks that I normally do, answering emails, texts, reviewing bills, and home type stuff I need to do. And then after that, it's usually into the venue, sound check, do my daily yoga session, and then from there, usually the afternoons are pretty free. Sometimes have guests out and take a nap and read a book a lot of the time as well. So,
do you have like a specific like pre-show ritual to get you ready to play?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I have a routine that I have to do. Obviously, you're aware of our stage theatrics, so
yeah.
we have to time preparation for all that. I do a warm up. I have a small practice kit out that I use. So all of that has to be scheduled in time, usually an hour and a half before stage.
You mentioned yoga. Is that a decision for drumming purposes, or why is that your choice of exercise?
It's one of them. I have a pretty rigorous training schedule.
Okay.
When I'm home, I run, usually, depending upon the condition I'm in, I'm running anywhere from 20 to 30 miles a week. Yoga is, I mean, for anybody that has any familiarity with it, it's just all around a good life choice. It doesn't matter really what you do, any kind of physical activity. I mean, even if you sit at a desk all day, It helps combat, rigidity, lack of flexibility. But for drumming, it's because of the posture, um, hunched over, sitting inside a drum kit. It's extremely helpful. In my case, I have lifelong back injuries.
Mm.
So it really grew out of just trying to cope with the condition I was in. Um, I've seen chiropractors all my life. And when I got serious about yoga, I quit seeing a chiropractor basically. So it's helped me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's helped me extensively.
I need to get into that because that's what I battle with after 90 minutes of playing. I'm usually
Exactly.
sore. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So how is, I mean, you're night after night of playing, how do you feel physically now that you're several weeks into this run?
Um, yeah, unfortunately, we tour so infrequently. Um, I spend about 10 months out of the year training to tour for 6 weeks or 2 months in
Yeah.
this case. And so, I mean, nothing you can do can prepare you. Um, I don't have an acoustic kit at home, unfortunately. Um, so my rehearsals at home are kind of they're a pale shade of what I do on stage.
Mm.
So usually at least first third to a half of the tour is just trying to catch up. And the last, like now I'm ready to tour for the rest of the year, about when
Mm.
we're almost done.
Yeah.
Um, unfortunately. But so I've gotten to a point now as I've gotten older where I'm doing coming off stage, I do a lot of pre-show maintenance type stuff, icing, um, muscle type gels for injury, which have helped a lot. Um, I don't feel too bad now. Um,
Mm.
I wear a Garmin watch and I watch all my telemetry as well. Try to keep track of like following what my heart rate type stuff is doing, calories burned and whatnot. And I mean,
Oh,
it's
interesting.
yeah, we've never. This is the longest set the band has ever played, so it's on top of getting older and not playing as much. Now we're playing more, so
Mm.
it's really it's definitely it's a job. I'll tell you that much.
What is your heart rate getting up to in the middle of a set?
Um, as I've gotten better conditioned through this tour, I hit around 180. Uh, like at least I don't know over a dozen, 2 dozen times.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
earlier in the tour, I would hit 200 easily a dozen times. Average heart rates it's gone down now. Actually, the past couple shows, it's significantly dropped. I'm usually between 150, 155 average for the
Mm.
hour and a half. Last show, I was like 144 or 145 average. So it was pretty significant, which is interesting to see. I mean, that's the whole point of keeping track is
Yeah.
being able to see. I mean, if I was to see some significant jumps, that would be alarming. I
Mm.
need, I want to be aware of that since I'm a fossil.
So I'm not really even sure what's a typical jogging heart rate for you?
That would be pretty typical for like running a 15K,
Okay.
for like running like 9 miles.
Yeah, it's intense. Something that's not talked about enough is how physically fit, especially in your genre, you need to be
Yeah.
to do this night after night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm at the pretty much at the threshold of what I can pull off. Um, I basically play like my life depends on it.
Mm.
Um, the front of house, the show depends on projecting through the kit, so I play extremely hard. At least, I mean, relatively for myself. I mean, I know that there's drummers that are half my age and crush. But I'm trying to put as much energy into the kit to project through to give signal
Mm.
to FOH as much as I can. Um, And so on top of, I mean, just on top of just the physicality, I'm hammering nails pretty much for an hour and a half.
Has that affected the gear that you're using?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, I break shit. There's no
Yeah.
question about that.
Yeah.
I break bottom hi hat cymbals. Um, Last year I broke 3 bottom snare heads.
Oh wow, you're really playing through.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's a
Bottom
good.
hi-hat. Interesting.
Yeah, I actually earlier in this tour I broke both hats, top and bottom, which I don't know that I'd ever done that before. Um, I don't really break heads. Um, I play with aluminum sticks, so I bend them.
Mm.
They I mean, it takes time, but they actually they I think they actually increase in heat from all the kinetic energy they absorb. So I change sticks constantly. I'm constantly um, over a dozen times, probably even more during a set. I'm changing sticks with my tech, always handing them to him. Anytime I get a break in between or even during a song, I'm handing sticks back and we're rotating sticks.
Oh wow, that's a cool tip. Yeah, if you're
Yeah,
bending aluminum sticks, swap
yeah.
them out every other song or something, right?
Well, I mean, as much as you can to give them time to basically, I mean, for lack of a better term, cool off, so to
Mm.
speak. Yeah,
Do you wear gloves?
yeah, have to. My hands get so my hands are tortured. I mean, my
Yeah.
hands. I have open, even with gloves on. I have open. I'll have open blisters. I mean, that's another part of coming out after not playing for 10 months. I mean, I've there's always a sketchy tightrope walk about the first getting into like the first 2 weeks of okay, am I going to have open bleeding wounds on my hands,
Oh,
or am I
gross.
going to be able to
Yeah.
condition my hands? Am I going to get through it and the blisters will settle down? You know, so
Yeah.
that's always an issue as well.
Is any other guys in the band dealing with this kind of physical stuff?
Oh God, I hope not. Yeah, I mean, everybody, everybody has. I mean, I do I even need to say what vocalists go through? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody, depending upon their specific tasks, they suffer through specified whatever it is conditioning that they have to do. So it's boohoo, my cross to bear. It's just part of the job, you just. I mean, I've been in constant pain my whole adult life of some kind.
Mm.
It's all low grade, you know, information in your consciousness that you just ignore.
Yeah, I hear you. Constant. That's what I think. Was it George Clooney said? Getting older is accepting that you're always in pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I mean, isn't that getting old anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like as far as like my yoga and stuff, my back is in better condition now than I was when I was in my 20s.
Okay. All right. You convinced me. I got to get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I think yoga is probably the most frequent conversation I have anymore with people.
Mm.
It's it comes up almost every day. Somebody asks me about it, or there's some reason why I might bring it up, and the reaction will be like yours. They'll be like, "Huh? What?" They think it's like most people. I mean, obviously, there's in the East Indian tradition. I mean, there's a half a dozen different types of yoga. Most people think that yoga is like some kind of meditation or something. And
Right.
what I do, and what is most commonly, like in American culture known as it's hatha yoga, which is all asana, which means posture yoga.
Okay.
It's incredibly physical. Um, if it's for anybody when you first started, I mean, it'll crush you. You'll
Mm.
be in,
Okay.
you'll, yeah, every muscle in your body will be screaming at you. A lot of it's based on standing postures or for balance. And then you do a lot of floor postures that are essentially reversing the hunching of your back, but you're building core strength and back
Hmm.
strength. Um, so it's just good overall health I mean, like Pilates and things like that are similar. From what I understand, so it's that kind of thing.
All right, I'm on it. Let's talk about revisiting LD50.
Yeah.
How do these songs feel now versus then? Do they feel like new? Like, did you have to go back and
Oh.
relearn it, or how?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm in a Mudvayne cover band now for sure.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to my own music. I don't listen to my albums. I could care less. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, when we first started rehearsing again back in 2019, 2020, whenever it was, um, yeah, I mean, I had to spend extensive time reviewing, and I would have to do that even when we put new songs in, and some of the LD50 songs that we hadn't played yet, or hadn't we played in the beginning of the 2020s, but we hadn't played for like 5 years. I had to go back, and some of them I've had to tab just to figure out what I was doing to be able to cover them, essentially.
Just cussing yourself out.
Yeah,
Yourself out.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Or forgetting what the reasoning behind why I wrote things. Some stuff I remember why it was written the way it was. Some stuff it's just I don't remember what it was. So now it sounds like nonsense to me as well as the fans.
Did you have to modify anything?
Uh, um, that's a I have to really think about that. I mean, I think the answer to that question is I think it's inescapable. I probably haven't not realized it. Um, I think, from not playing for so long, my playing style has probably unintentionally evolved. Um, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm playing things uh, authentically, you know. But I'm sure that there's things that like I don't remember the same, and you know, I don't hear them the same, so they've changed. I haven't had anybody come up to me and ask me like, "Dude, you fucked that part up." Like what? Nothing like that. So I think it's convincing enough. You know, I don't think that there's anything wrong with, to a certain degree, like. If I have reinterpreted something, I'd like to, optimistically like to think that I'm still inside of the spirit of what it is. So I'm still capturing the essence of what the intentionality was.
Yeah. I mean, it's still you, right? No matter what.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I hope so. Yeah.
So you guys put out a new track recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
How has the writing process for that versus records past? Is it similar or different? Does it change at all?
Yeah. I am not a big fan of this whole file sharing age. And we spent a lot of time file sharing, and some of it came out of those experiences. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it, you know, doesn't have some sort of benefit. And I get it for whatever some people, but we eventually went back to when we could, all of us being in the same room as we've always been. And I think that experience for me kind of said all that needs to be said about where we are nowadays. Nothing could be. I don't know that anything can recreate just sitting across the table from somebody, no phone in your hand, and looking somebody in the eyes, and discussing, and sharing ideas, sharing common space. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to be any more critical than that, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So was the initial file sharing just geography where you guys spread out?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, the convenience and the convenience of it is inescapable. I mean, okay, $50,000 trucking fees to move gear, $20,000 in plane flights or whatever. As opposed to Dropbox. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I get it, but I mean, unfortunately, you're going to get what you're going to get. I mean, okay, so let's say we were like, Robert, Bobby, and the Mudtones, and we had a songwriter. I could see it it would, if you got one central songwriter who's writing everything and then sharing with, your musicians or whatever, I can see. But in a band like ours where we all write together, and the ideas spring from the reactivity, us reacting to each other. I mean, file sharing's not going to. It's just going to mimic that. It's not going to actually do what happens in the moment. The things that happen instantaneously. You play a guitar part, I react to that, and then we're sitting right there, and then what you're doing changes right now. Yeah. File sharing, I mean, that can slow down to days and weeks, and it's just the essence isn't even caught. There's no human interaction in that. None of the nonverbal communication of hand gestures and body language and just all of it. So
yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think especially with a band like yours, you could see someone kind of doing a version of it where it's just, here's all the riffs, you put your parts on it,
exactly,
and there's our song.
Yeah,
but that almost feels like you'd have to have a primary songwriter.
That's what I was saying. That was the joke about such and such and the Mudtones. If we had a guy that was a central songwriter in the band, I'm sure there'd be a way to make a situation like that work. You just show up to rehearsals and you already have your parts, and then you all play together and figure it out. But it doesn't work that. I mean, our band we complicate everything. Our songwriting process is complicated. We don't really have a central way that we go about writing songs. So, I mean, there's that as well. So you introduce something like file sharing or whatever, and then there's just another layer of, makes it even more opaque.
So like for the new track of what we hear, how much of that started as a file share? Was it like one riff, or was there, how?
Yeah, a couple riffs that were shared.
Okay.
If nothing else, through file sharing, we found out what we didn't want to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe it was helpful in that, I guess. But otherwise, I mean, the song was pretty much reinvented when we got together, for sure.
How do you like to write drum parts? Do you like to get a rough idea and then work it on your own, or is it you just hammer it out in rehearsal?
If I just off the top of my head think about it, though, probably if I was able to be a fly on the wall and watch myself, this might not be true, but my impression, retrospectively, is everything starts by ear. We listen to each other and react in the moment, not intellectually. It's by ear, and then usually we spend a lot of time with we're very slow writers. All of our records were done over many months periods, usually like say 3 months, where we would live remotely in some, back end of the world and just basically isolate ourselves. So we spent a lot of time actually documenting what we do and then listening. I mean, we probably spend more time just hanging out, listening to recordings of what we're working on. And then, like, for me, a big part, this is kind of weird. I probably wouldn't even remember it unless in a question like this where I think it through. But like, a lot of ideas come to me as I'm like falling asleep and laying in bed. I'll review in my mind, basically, quote unquote, sing the part, whatever whatever maybe the guitar riff is, and I might have a rhythm idea, and I'll just kind of rehearse it in my mind as I'm falling asleep. And I'm not saying that I have some sort of mystical you know, shamanistic experience, nothing quite so dramatic, but it has to affect my subconscious some way, wake up the next day and come back to it, and you've had some time and some distance really to decompress on it, and you'll get fresh angles. Usually what happens after that, once the song starts taking shape and you get some things that you like, I mean, I want to be excited just like a fan. I get excited about our music. I think I want to have fun too. And once you get to that point, then a lot of times I will, or probably me more than the other guys, because I'm mildly on the spectrum. I'll sit down and start formalizing, breaking down like what are the angles on the parts, whether it might be time signatures or like a rhythm hook, essentially looking for a theme. And once you have a theme, then you can exploit that. And that's when the song really starts to take shape and gain a personality. Um, I think it's one of the better things about a Mudvayne record that I'm proud of is, whether or not you like our music or you like our band, I think you can't deny that if you listen to one of our records, the songs all don't sound the same. Each song's, I hope each song has its own identifiable identity, its own identifiable personality. And that comes from really digging into, the bones of the song and trying to find themes that you can carry through, that you can repeat, building up, even whether or not a fan realizes it, their unconscious hooks on to those things that kind of give landmarks to a listener.
Yeah.
And I mean, how is that going to happen? Again, going back to the whole file sharing thing, I don't know if that would be even possible to keep that sort of momentum that we get while we're all writing together.
Yeah, you're right. Like the muse just would be gone.
Yeah,
it's great. Once the vocals get involved, does that change anything for you?
It can, for sure. I mean, there's no like I'm kind of saying, there's no real true and fast formula. I mean, yeah, sometimes vocals can get involved and like whole arrangements can be chopped up. I mean, on every album, there's every time there's songs that like we might spend a couple weeks working on it and then just trash the whole thing and go, all right, part C of the bridge for that 20 seconds, that would be a great chorus for this other song we're working on. And the whole song just collapses into another song. So, you have to be responsive again. A lot of that comes from like what I was saying earlier about, we do a lot of listening. We do a lot of reviewing as the process is happening, and then make choices and react to, what we like, what we don't like. We might hammer on a song for a while, knowing that it's just, not going to work out, but trying to get it to some place and get it to a place where, again, we could digest it into something else, or we've had songs that just didn't make a record and they just disappeared and then popped up on another record where we brought it back and then reworked it. I think Never Enough is one of those songs. I can't even remember what record it's on, because I think we worked on it during Lost and Found, and maybe it was put on New Game. I could be wrong on that, but it was something like that.
I don't know how much you can talk about what's coming up, but I assume there's more material coming out.
Sure, we hope so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working on material for the past 5 years. There's all kinds of material. I can't really say what the future is going to hold. And when I say I can't say, I not because I'm not allowed, but because I honestly don't know. The band is going through a lot of internal changes right now. We're in a kind of incubating sort of phase right now where we're waiting it's transitional. and we need to wait and see where the band is next year. Um, you know, is it possible? For sure. We've been doing these summer reunion tour kind of thing for 5 years now,
Yeah.
and I think the welcome is not in a bad way, but the welcome is starting to wear out. So we need to, again, we need to transition, and how that looks and how that happens, I really don't know right now.
Right on.
It's good to see though, here we are with this anniversary tour, and we're selling out shows. It's inspiring to see that there's still serious interest. So if that doesn't say enough, hopefully we don't, we're not going away yet. And
Right.
fans don't seem to want us to go away. So there's that to kind of rest on.
What was the initial inspiration to get back together after so much time off?
Yeah, I think we were all at a point where we had been away from the band enough. I think we'd had enough time to let fans cool off. Different age, we've all grown, literally age-wise and dramatically. And so, conversations started. I think, honestly, like Greg and I started a side project band in the mid-2010s. So he and I started working together again.
Mm-hmm.
And so just kind of the natural progression of just being friends, everybody just started talking. And it was like, would we want to actually play together again? And then, in a very practical sense, maybe something that people don't think about, was like we had to put together we had to rebuild from zero a whole business infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
If we couldn't have found good legal representation, management, booking agent, everything, any one of those key components could have sank the ship.
Right.
So we started looking into that, and even seeing if there was from the industry side of things, if there was even an interest in the band existing, which, fortunately we put together a really super good team that I'm really proud of, and A-list people that have made the whole experience incredibly enjoyable. How everybody hears horror stories about bands and the music industry, and the horrible things that happen to people. So in our case, I think we're, a really inspiring, kind of put a spin on it, but, an inspiring success story of how things can come together from the entertainment business side of it to the artistic side of it, and have a wonderful marriage of those things and enjoy the work.
From the outside, it feels like this past few years has been a renaissance of metal. Like there's more and more bands touring.
Absolutely. Yes. We talk about it all the time. Like it's like new metal, this new metal early 2000s thing is a like classic rock now. But anyway, sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah. Well, so how does that, like, having been at the top of the game in the early 2000s, now you're re-entering it, does it feel different?
Kind of in a way. That like there is like this kind of classic rock vibe, we do these, again, going back to some of these festivals, we see, that's the whole cool thing about a festival. You see all these bands that you normally wouldn't get to tour with or play with, or you haven't seen in so long. So we're seeing a lot of those bands that we played with back, 25 years ago. And they're all saying the same thing. They're like, oh my God, we haven't been on stage for 10, 15 years. And now like there's, we're getting offers and all this stuff. So, yeah, it's kind of this just, what? Like, like back in the day, we were maligned, I made fun of so much, and the journalistic side of it, the magazines and everything, just, we were never really embraced except by the fans, really. And now it's like, I mean, look at Deftones, right?
Right.
Like selling out multiple nights at, I don't, arenas and stuff. I mean, and not that the Deftones were ever. Yeah. Yeah. The whole tour. Yeah. And not that Deftones ever, were hurting, but I mean, they're bigger now than they ever were.
Yeah,
So,
right. Yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't say enough, right?
Yeah, I saw Dillinger Escape Plan announce some shows. I didn't think they'd ever come back.
Yeah. I just saw something recently like Acid Bath, obviously not a new metal band, but just, they played a couple festivals, maybe like last year, and now like they're headlining huge tours.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know them personally, but I know some people that kind of, and I'm sure they're like probably gobstopped, like what is going on? And good for them,
Yeah. Have you had any of the younger bands interacting with you guys?
Sure. Yeah.
So-
I mean, they come up to me and call me grandpa for sure.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, in some cases, it's not even a joke. I mean, we've noticed, I was sure to answer your question. We can get back, but like, I think, like we see almost like 4 generations of fans now,
Mm,
right. From the earliest, somebody that was maybe in their 30s or 40s and became a fan in the late 90s, who would be, in their late 60s, 70s, down to 8-year-old kids in the front of the crowd. But I mean, as far as the new bands, we've been received incredibly. Every tour we come out on or a festival, there might be some story about some younger band or whoever that's been incredibly flattering. Something I never expected, to even be remembered or taken that serious. So to be a part of a legacy and to be seen in a context in a relevant historical context is, I mean, that's the height of a compliment, really. That's when you know that things are bigger. It's bigger than just me or the band or any one person.
You mentioned that you don't listen to your records. So what do you listen to? What are your favorite records of all time?
Is that really that's really a rabbit hole you want to go down?
How about what did you listen to in the past couple days?
Yeah, right. I am a very eclectic listener. I'm a big electronic music fan. I always have been. I grew up around it's kind of a micro thing, but like I grew up around the whole Chicago wax tracks scene in the 80s. So I grew up with like a lot of industrial dance music. I'm still a very big electronic music fan. I am very, very much into a lot of the Warp Records bands from England. So Autechre, Aphex Twin, Square Pusher, Plaid, Boards of Canada. Right now, I've gone through a terror EDM phase, a TBM, terror body music phase. I've been listening to Kenthron, Stoppenberg, Liebknecht, Nachtwehr. These are all like crazy EDM, like satanic 666 dance music bands. Imagine like rave music with black metal vocals screaming about the devil. It's pretty much the coolest thing ever. Like dudes, like imagine like rave music with headbanging, like dudes like full on headbanging like death metal or something. It's it's unbelievable. I mean, I guess the point of this is I don't really listen to mainstream music, at least current mainstream music. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory fashion. I just it doesn't capture a lot of my interest. That being said, I'm a big. I mean, I like like pop music from all the decades past. I mean, from Hall and Oates to George Michael to Huey Lewis and the News to Prince, Michael Jackson. I like R&B music, Luther Vandross. My brain goes blank, but I mean, classic rock. We all grew up with, Sabbath and Zeppelin and Beatles, and So I mean, I think from a professional standpoint, I feel an obligation to be as informed about music as possible. Um, and if maybe some of that did have a bit of an impact on the band. I mean, there's an undeniable pop aspect about Mudvayne. You know, the average listener probably doesn't necessarily pick up on that, but I'm sure fans can catch it. No, um, there's hooks in our music, and there are very accessible aspects to it. So,
what do you pop on when you're going for a run?
that is a great question. So what I do is I rate all of my music. I don't stream. A friend and I have our own server. I still collect music fanatically. And so I go through, and everything that I'm listening outside of when I'm running, I rate my songs, and then I have a playlist that takes all of the highest star rated and specifically genre distinctive music. So it has to fall into certain categories of different styles of electronic music I listen to. Then it goes into the playlist, and then I just I shuffle that playlist when I run. And I've got probably 5,000 to 7,000 songs that are in it.
Wow.
And it can hit anywhere from it can be. So on a typical run, I'll probably listen to Nitzareb, Depeche Mode, Kraftwerk, How Job, Frontline Assembly, Front 242, to more current rave type, EDM type music. New stuff, like I mentioned, like Liebknecht, which is an offspin of How Job that I'm crazy. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? Have you ever heard of How?
Maybe 50% of these I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what I was saying, the rabbit hole about it. But yeah, I mean, so sometimes, usually on a run, if I run for an hour, a new song will pop in. Skinny Puppy. I absolutely have to say, I'm a huge Skinny Puppy, complete fanatic.
I see that connection. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the spectacle of our live show. I mean, Skinny Puppy is pretty much almost the genesis of all that. Dare I say there wouldn't really be a Marilyn Manson show without Skinny Puppy from the 80s.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way, It's exciting to see the music that we love having an impact on, more accessible and these huge acts. Like Marilyn Manson brought something really awesome to the mainstream. Good for him. So, and Nine Inch Nails too. I mean, Trent Reznor openly speaks about the influence that Skinny Puppy had on early Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, you can hear that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting towards the end here, and it is a show that's supposed to be about gear. So we kind of have to talk a little about what is your setup for this tour, and is it different from past tours?
Oh God, no. My drum kit is very highly specified to my writing. I guess, you know what? That's an interesting point at your earlier question about how authentically I'm still playing the songs. The fact that my drum kit is very specified. My kit built up around the writing, and the writing influenced how I built the kit, and then the way the kit is set up affects my writing. It's kind of a feedback loop. Coming back to my same kit, that probably actually inspired me or helped me to remember what the parts were, the way my kit is set up. So no, that being said, all the techs I've had at some point have like thrown something new on my kit while I'm touring, and that would enter into like the next round of album writing. But as far as like coming back out, no, the kit is what the kit is. I don't move things. I don't change things. I know there's a lot of drummers that like they fiddle a lot. They're always messing with the springs on their kick pedals or whatever. I am not that guy. I don't mess with anything. Or if I do, it's specifically for some important reason, like, I've I'm trying to get a catch on a cymbal over here, and I need that cymbal tighter.
Yeah.
But they'll be very, very. It's not fiddling. It's not messing around. It's not improvisational. It's addressing an engineering concern, so to speak.
So when your techs would bring something new into the kit, did that piss you off at first, or were you into it?
Oh God, no. I'm playing their drum kit. It's not my kit. You know, within reason, they can do whatever they want to. No, usually it's hilarious. I mean, last show, I grabbed something out of the dressing room and a planner and took it out to the kit. Actually, I had a friend from another band bring it to me, and then it went up on top of a cymbal, and then it went onto the case, and then I carried it on stage in between songs, and then so I mean, we're always, you never know. But as far as like the actual, like where the actual kit setup, like toms and cymbals and stuff, no, none of that moves.
Last question I ask everyone: what was your first snare drum?
A Rogers. It was like obviously a 14. It was like a 5.5. It was not very good quality, so it would not have been seamless. It was either aluminum or steel. It was probably a steel snare, but it was a Rogers.
Was that part of a kit?
No,
So
it was just a
snare drum.
Yep, it was a concert snare drum. Yep, exactly.
And where is it now?
In probably buried, 75 feet below the ground, somewhere around Rockford, Illinois, probably.
Do you remember throwing it away?
No, I actually don't, to be honest. You know what? It would have been absorbed into my first drum kit, and then from there would have evolved into other kits, and then just got lost probably in transition. For when I bought my first Pearl Export Pro in the 80s, when everybody got one. Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell made them Pro? Because I had the Export. What made them
Pro? I had an Export. I don't know that I ever had an Export. I had an Export Pro. Yeah, I don't remember what the distinction was. I'm sure there was some marketing thing,
Yeah.
Maybe more colors available. I don't. I'm sure it was something specific, but I can't remember what it was.
All right. Well, then, what was your first big purchase as a drummer?
Ooh. I mean, I've had some milestones. I got a Spirit of 2002 Peisty snare, one of the signed Jeff Uckeltrees.
Yeah.
I got that in the 2000s when the band started enjoying some success. That was pretty serious. I still have it. That's a collector's thing now.
Unicorns, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my first serious kit that I bought with Mudvayne, that was used to track all the demos and stuff. I mean, that was, probably at the time, close to $2,000. That would have been serious.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of money.
Do you still have all that stuff, or you?
No, it's all gone. I'm not nostalgic about stuff like that. I don't really care. I was actually, I was gonna sell this kit off that I'm playing right now for the anniversary tour, and my manager was like, "No way." He's like, "You're gonna keep that. That's yours forever." I'm like, oh, it's like, okay. Here's a manager talking me out of making money. Pretty incredible, right? It goes to show you the kind of people, how cool the people are that I work with.
Yeah, good people. I mean, that kit should go into a museum at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Again, I don't. It'll probably get set up. It gets stacked in the corner in like a living room somewhere, and just it'll be people come over and, what's going on with the weird coffee table over there?
That's it for this week's episode. Please like, share, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. Hit me up with an email at drumcandypodcast@gmail.com if you have any comments or questions. I know there was a bit of an audio issue with the last episode. I welcome all critique and feedback, so let me know. Again, that's drumcandypodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be back again next week with a new episode. See you then.